Good evening, and we begin at 5 tonight with a relative calm before the ice storm. We're now about 24 hours away from the arrival of a winter wallop. Potential snow, sleet, and freezing rain, not to mention both frigid highs and lows, and the mess it is all threatening to create right before the holiday weekend. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm David Mulco. Today is officially the first day of winter, and across Oregon and Southwest Washington, it's definitely feeling like it, with temperatures dropping and the winter weather not too far behind. We have full team coverage once again tonight. Brian Clerkley looking at preparations underway right now in Multnomah County. But we begin with Chief Meteorologist Matt Zafino. And Matt, what is the latest timing on the storm here?
Hey, David, it's slowed down a little bit compared to what we were saying yesterday, but you said it earlier. It's about 24 hours from now. I think between 3 and 5 p.m. we'll begin to see either light snow or light sleet and freezing rain falling. Any snow we get won't last very long. It's going to be a fairly quick transition, I think, to ice, meaning sleet, which is basically frozen rain that falls and hits the ground as ice pellets, or liquid freezing rain, which then freezes on contact as it falls into the sub-freezing air. Here's Timberline right now. Nice winter-like scene up there with a clear sky, but it's only 16 degrees, and it's going to get even colder. We're going to see morning low temperatures in Portland around that value by tomorrow morning. The Arctic blast rolled into Pendleton last night. Temperatures down in the single digits there by tomorrow morning and later on tonight, actually. We've got a winter storm warning up for the valley, including the Portland area. That coexists with a wind advisory and, rarely for Portland, a wind chill advisory because of the strong winds, the combination of the strong winds, the very cold Arctic air that's rolling our way. And again, it continues in the Cascades with a wind chill warning, and same thing over in eastern Oregon with lots of wind chill warnings there. Now, the winds so far just beginning to gear up, but already gusts of 53 at Crown Point. This is not a time to go, oh, I'm going to go experience those strong winds at Crown Point. It's going to be gusting to 100 miles an hour up there. The wind chill is going to be like 25 below. It's going to be dangerous, and the roads are going to be icy, so avoid that. 49 at Corbett, and up at the Cascade Express chairlift to Mount Hood Meadows had a gust of 74 miles an hour already this afternoon, and they will be ramping up, as will the precipitation. So this is between about 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon until 11:30 on Thursday night. We're upwards of around 1/10 of an inch of ice, which doesn't sound that bad. It is enough, 1/10 of an inch, to make the road slick. But look what happens overnight Thursday and into Friday morning. Suddenly, we're up to 1/2 inch of ice in Portland, and as you head out through the gorge, over 1 inch of ice. Multnomah Falls out towards Cascade Locks. If that actually happens, even if we only end up with half those values, very likely we're going to see closures on some of the roads in the gorge, as things are just going to be too slippery and there'll be tree limbs coming down and the like. So bottom line is this: look for snow and sleet or freezing rain to begin in Portland about 3 to 5 p.m. tomorrow. In the gorge, also, it's going to begin about the same time, maybe a bit later, but those dangerous wind chills develop tonight. Bitter cold, strong gusty winds, upwards of 60 to 75 miles an hour in the gorge, not up at Crown Point, but like down Troutdale to Multnomah Falls. In Cascade Lock, or the Cascades themselves, rather, snow, but even there it turns to freezing rain and wind chills of 25 below later tomorrow night and into Friday, David.
So much going on about 24 hours out. Thank you, Matt. Tonight, cold weather shelters, including one at the Oregon Convention Center, are now opening up across our area. Let's bring in Brian Clerkley at another of the shelter locations. This one in North Portland. Brian, health officials are putting out a dire warning tonight as temps begin to fall. Do not underestimate that cold headed our way.
Yeah, David, they want people to stay inside when that extreme cold gets here. I'm at the Arbor Lodge cold weather shelter. It holds 56 people and it opens at 7 tonight. They have everything from food to blankets to cold weather gear. And Washington County is also opening shelters as well. And like I said, health officials want people to be cautious.
I'm feeling today similar to how I felt in the days leading up to the 2021 heat dome, where again we had temperatures a full 20 degrees different than what most people had experienced in this region.
In a press conference at the Arbor Lodge cold weather shelter in North Portland, Multnomah County Health Officer Jennifer Vines expressed concerns about the cold temperatures expected to hit the area. She's worried about the houseless community and people that might be caught by surprise.
The real risk of frostbite to nose, cheeks, toes, fingers is very real, and the risk of hypothermia, which is where the cold really just overtakes your body's ability to maintain its warm temperature.
The cold weather shelters are equipped with anything from beds to sheets to hand warmers and food. Dr. Vines also has concerns about carbon monoxide poisoning when people use alternative ways to heat their homes. But here's her main piece of advice.
Get inside and stay inside.
Over at the Multnomah County Emergency Management Warehouse, crews are preparing supplies to send over to the shelters. Director of Emergency Management Chris Voss says nobody will be turned away from the shelters, and they're prepared to open more if need be.
Initially, we're opening up, I think it's a 320 beds to start with, and that will, historically we know that will certainly be okay for sort of the first day or two. But like I said, it could be a situation where if this continues definitely past day 3, that we may need to open up even more space.
Over in Washington County, officials are opening more than 300 shelter beds at the Salvation Army building in Hillsboro and the Beaverton Community Center.
Either location folks can walk up to, they're accessible by public transportation, and we just really encourage people to get inside.
And if you do have any questions or need to get to these shelters, you can call 211. There's free transportation to these different shelters around the county. David?
And we should mention no one turned away from public transport for lack of funds on their way to a shelter, as long as they can stay operating safely. Thank you, Bryant. Ahead of what are forecast to be the lowest temperatures to hit our area in years, and with that ice inbound, we wanted to get some last-minute expert tips on how to prepare your home for the deep freeze. Christelle Kumwe got some hands-on advice.
With a major ice storm in the forecast,
just about everything that's to do with cold weather has been moving very well.
Shoppers are lining up at Ankeny Hardware in Southeast Portland.
This has been pretty much nonstop. We're probably doing about 3 days worth of business every day.
Owner Norman Chusid recommends all of us get our homes ready for the bitter temperatures. He says there are 2 important steps. First, cover all your outdoor faucets with these covers.
Those go on your faucets, just like they show right there. It insulates it, the heat from your house, and fills a little box, and it stops your faucet valves from freezing.
Second, check the filter in your furnace to keep your heater running smoothly.
Check your furnace filter. If you can't take your furnace filter out and look up and you can't see light through it, it needs to be changed.
So it's good to keep an eye out around the house as well as outside on the property.
Craig Moore is a plumber with D Temple. He says if you're worried about your pipes freezing, you can leave the water running at a trickle. Outside, cover any exposed pipes.
Now what we're holding is a copper line here with a bit of insulation over it. As you can see, this is pretty thin, about 1/2 inch wall, just enough to keep the air and the frost from building up on that line.
After you weatherize your house, stock up on salt for your sidewalks and walkways.
Just out of kindness to people, nobody wants to slip and break a hip. So get some ice melt down, get the stuff shoveled off.
And if you must venture outside, don't forget to put these on your shoes.
These here are ice cleats, so when it gets icy here, we'll wear them, and it's like walking on just dry pavement when we walk outside.
Important advice as we count the final days until Christmas.
So we'll all get through this. We've been getting through with it for years. We'll continue to get through it.
Christelle Kumwe, KGW News.
And it's not too late for a last-minute supply run. Stay with KGW for continuing coverage of the ice storm, including a live online Q&A with Matt Zaffino and my colleague Brittany Falkers. Matt's going to answer some of your most pressing questions and again walk a detailed timeline of this storm. It starts right after this newscast at 5:30 tonight. You can watch on KGW.com, on Facebook, or on our KGW YouTube channel. Let's update you now on other local headlines this evening, including a deadly shooting in Southeast Portland. Police responded to 9th and Market Streets just before 11 this morning. It's where they found an injured man. He later died at the hospital. Police have not yet publicly identified the victim. Officers tell us they detained 2 people who may have been involved. In election news, Washington's 3rd congressional district has now completed its recount, and the outcome there did not change. Democrat Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez remains the winner. Now, according to the Secretary of State's office, Republican Joe Kent gained 3 votes. Gluesenkamp-Perez gained a total of 7 votes, all in beating her opponent by about 2,600 votes. Now, Kent, who paid for the recount because it did not meet state threshold, said he called her today to congratulate her and to concede. However, the Glusenkamp-Perez campaign says the two did not speak today. She says she learned about his concession through Twitter. Now, the Congresswoman-elect called democracy, quote, alive and well in our corner of the country, end quote.